Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So a few days ago I saw a video on YouTube. It was Bombardier's Goodbye to the World, and I was heartbroken. And so I made a few posts around kind of lamenting the loss of Bombardier, and maybe I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was a bit surprised that so many people really truly thought Bombardier was this terrible company. And so I wanted to make this video to tell you why I'm sad and why I think more people should be unhappy that we lost Bombardier in Canada. If you're not already, please consider following me on Twitter at RMTransit. It's a great place to stay up to date with transit news and posts from me. So if you didn't already know, Bombardier Transportation, who was headquartered in Germany but kind of operated from Canada, has now been acquired officially. The deal has closed and it's now part of Alstom. And so when I was on Wikipedia on Friday and I looked up Bombardier Transportation, I saw Bombardier Transportation was, and I thought, that's sad. Of course, the deal had been announced like almost a year ago and it's been kind of slowly moving along, and it's just sad to see it finally happen. So why does it matter that Bombardier Transportation and that section of the company, which is now reduced to making jets for rich people, why is it sad that that doesn't exist anymore? Well, the thing is, Bombardier created a ton of fantastic rolling stock. We're talking high-speed rail trains in Italy and China, fantastic metro trains across Canada and in some cities in the US and in Europe as well, regional trains, commuter trains in much of North America, automated people movers. It created a ton of rolling stock. And to be fair, a lot of these products were not actually bad products. I think something you see a lot is new rolling stock getting introduced and there's like door issues or something along those lines, and people immediately say like, oh, this is a terrible product or something. And I've been looking at a lot of lists where people kind of list minor issues like that as if it's a fatal flaw in a product. And it's a little disingenuous because these sort of hiccups, they exist a lot of the time when you start using a new form of rolling stock on a system. Not always, but a lot of the time. And it doesn't mean that a product is fatally flawed. For example, the Toronto Rocket subway trains in Toronto are great. They had door issues initially with regard to like cycling and stuff, but it's been fixed and they're great subway trains. Do I think they look as good as they could? No, but they're good trains. The same can be said in Vancouver, where the Sky trains are fantastic, or for the trains in Montreal, or for a lot of other Bombardier products. In fact, Bombardier produced large and successful orders for a ton of different cities around the world, like San Francisco, New York City, London, Delhi, Shanghai. Tons of major cities used high-quality Bombardier products, and even products that we love to kind of hate in Canada, like the new streetcars for Toronto. They were a kind of bespoke custom solution that had production issues, but Bombardier still delivered all of the streetcars by the time they said they would, and they were busy fixing the issues that exist in the fleet as it is now. Now, one of the things I saw a lot of comments about was that Bombardier is a terrible company, or something along those lines in less polite language. And I think that's ridiculous and a little narrow-sighted. The truth is, Bombardier had a number of problems in recent years with orders in New York, London, and the Toronto streetcar order. But to suggest that just because they had some problems with a few orders, that they are a bad company is a little silly. Look at Apple, for example. In the 1990s, was Apple a terrible company because their products weren't as good as they were back in the 80s when they introduced the original Macintosh? Is Hyundai a terrible company because for years they struggled to make a high-quality car? No, these companies stuck through it and eventually became great companies. Apple now being the most valuable company in the world, despite having tons of problems back in the 90s. It's also a bit of a distortion factor. You really only hear about the projects that go wrong, and not the projects that go right. And if you read the Toronto Star a lot, you'd probably think that Bombardier was a terrible rolling stock manufacturer. All you hear in the news is delay, 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 streetcar order this, streetcar order that, even if it's the same news item being repeated a ton of times. So as a reminder, despite the fact that in Toronto generally, Bombardier mainly only had this problem, we continue to just hammer them and treat them like they should be eliminated from the face of the earth and say that we hope they fail and stuff, despite them being a Canadian company. I also saw a particular note that was something along the lines of, because Bombardier got a bailout, it wasn't actually the train division, but whatever. Because Bombardier got a bailout, it's just a bad company, you know, it should fail, right? The truth is that if you look up bailouts for major train manufacturers, you'll find out that a lot has gone on with Alstom, Siemens, and Hyundai. Of course, Alstom, however, because Bombardier got a bailout, it's just a bad company, it should fail, right? The truth is that if you look up bailouts for major train manufacturers, you'll find out that a lot has gone on with Alstom, Siemens, and Hyundai. Of course, Alstom, actually similar to Bombardier, got banned from the New York City should fail, right? The truth is that if you look up bailouts for major train manufacturers, you'll find out that a lot has gone on with Alstom, Siemens, and Hyundai. Of course, however, because Bombardier got a bailout, it's just a bad company, it should fail, right? The truth is that if you look up bailouts for major train manufacturers, you'll find out that a lot has gone on with Alstom, Siemens, and Hyundai. Of course, Alstom, actually similar to Bombardier, got banned from the New York City transit procurement process because they also had issues with their rolling stock. And let's not forget all of the issues Hyundai had in bailouts for major train manufacturers. You'll find out that a lot has gone on with Alstom, Siemens, and Hyundai. Of course, Alstom, actually similar to Bombardier, got banned from the New York City transit should fail, right? The truth is that if you look up bailouts for major train manufacturers, you'll find out that a lot has gone on with Alstom, Siemens, and Hyundai. Of course, Alstom, actually similar to Bombardier, got banned from the New York City transit procurement process because they also had issues with their rolling stock. And let's not forget all of the issues Hyundai had in North America with commuter rail cars and the Silverliners. And to be fair too, it's not like other companies don't get tons of support from their local governments. Companies like Siemens and Hyundai are good companies that produce a lot of good rolling stock. But you don't see a lot of rolling stock that isn't Siemens in Germany and that isn't Hyundai in Korea. And that's natural. Other countries are very willing to protect large companies that have a lot of institutional impact, and they create a lot of positive economic impacts as well as knowledge about the rolling stock industry in these countries. I think it's obvious that part of the reason why Korea and Germany have such good rail systems is because they have such successful rail manufacturers. When you have a good train builder, it's likely you're going to be good at building train tracks, and I don't see a lot of rolling stock that in North America with commuter rail cars and the Silverliners. And to be fair too, Hyundai. Of course, Alstom, actually similar to Bombardier, got banned from the should fail, right? The truth is that if you look up bailouts for major train manufacturers, you'll find out that a lot has gone on with Alstom, Siemens, and Hyundai. Of course, Alstom, actually similar to Bombardier, got banned from the New York City transit procurement process because they also you have a good train builder, it's likely you're going to and news media, and yeah, I know, being critical of the news media isn't the greatest thing in these times, but at the end, and don't kind of consider it in a broader context. Problems, door issues, to say the least, so Canadian workers. Now, way into the wind, so